How does leftness and rightness in human design affect the traditional educational system?
One of the major problems that we have in education is that education is based on a methodology that is rooted in what in design is called the strategic. Basically, we're part of an evolutionary process. If we go back in our family tree to the Neanderthal, we go back to a creature that was entirely right. That is, they were deeply receptive. Everything about their nature was that they were in tune to their environment. They were in tune to the nature around them because of their receptive nature. When Homo sapien appeared, that is, so-called modern man was the other side of the coin. Modern man was purely strategic. And strategic is about being focused. It's about taking our binary vision and being able to create strategies out of what we see. In human beings, this was an enormous advantage. That is, it gave us the capacity through mind to be able to control the world. Everything being rooted in the strategic approach. And everything about the strategic approach is that you have to focus, you have to remember, there are basic rules about the way in which you progress. The fact is, since 1781, we've had a whole different mix genetically in the beings that are emerging on this plane. And half of them are coming in with a great deal of rightness, the other side of the coin. According to human design, the ninth center being is what I refer to as Homo sapien intransitus. That is, we're a transitional form. We're actually moving towards a new right that ultimately will come. But us, we carry leftness and rightness. Rightness is a deep, deep dilemma for children in school. Deep dilemma. They're not designed to focus. They're not designed to be strategic. All school programs are rooted in the strategic approach. All of them. All of them. Always have been. Because the educational systems, the way we have developed our teaching programs are all rooted historically in this strategic approach. And then we have all these children that are right. Many of them are misunderstood by their teachers. That is, they're not respected. They're not considered to be as intelligent. The teacher may think they're perhaps a little more creative, but doesn't really see that they have the potential to be academic. And it's simply because right doesn't perform in the same way. The educational system today is devastating to those children that have a right mind. It is something that can be easily dealt with, but it means that there has to be an approach in which these children and their parents are educated. A right-minded child can be brilliant in school, as a matter of fact, truly brilliant, but the rules for them are different. And it's a dilemma in the classroom. The right-minded child has to be present and pay attention. If they pay attention, they take everything in. So they don't have to study. They take it all in. The left-minded child needs to focus. So they're only interested in certain things that the teacher says. They're not interested all the time. And the times that they're not interested creates problems. That is, they're bored, they need something to do, they start fooling around, they distract the right-minded students who can no longer be present, and they lose out on their process of taking everything in. The left child can later go back and study those things it missed, but the right can't do that. So if we're going to change the way in which children are going to excel in terms of how they translate information, we're going to have to begin to see that we need a whole new approach in terms of separating the right and the left children and teaching them literally in different ways. Now, of course, that's not going to happen. Hey? It's just not going to happen. So what we end up with is how well a job we can do in letting parents know and the teachers that are open to us to begin to have this process of slowly, and particularly at the home level, so that the child doesn't suffer from the reflection of the teaching system on the parents looking at the child. You got a right-minded child and the parent is told over and over and over again, that the child is not doing well and they can't, blah, 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 and all of this stuff. It begins to have a terrible impact on the psychology of the child itself. So it's very important when the opportunity is there to be able to, and you don't have to get these parents into human design. They want to do something that's right for their children. But again, it's a classroom problem because the right-minded child in the right environment is an environment without distraction. And it's an environment that is simply stimulating where they're present and they take things in. As a matter of fact, you can teach a right child in half the time that you teach the left, because you're always making up for what they've missed because they're only doing their focusing and they're missing out on things. It's totally different teaching techniques. And again, the institutions, you know, this is you know, it means changing everything. And you know, that's not the way I think. I think one person at a time, one child at a time, one parent at a time, you know, in order to be able to have that impact.